Okay, cool. So I should just stand right here.
Yeah, if you stay right there,
I'll be all right.
you have like a little bit of a space.
We'll make it work.
I'm gonna help hold it with the kids.
Yes, for sure.
Okay. Maybe you can just, if you want to sit there, you can just look behind it and make sure he's always in the screen.
Yeah, because I might walk out the frame, man. And... All right. Hmm? Oh, yeah. I just wanted to make sure that he's going to look at the camera for me. All right. Good. Those of you that are over there, we're getting ready to get started. So we'll be in Matthew chapter 6, and this is a very familiar passage. I actually like it when we can get new insight to verses that we've probably been looking at our whole life. Right. All right, I'm gonna have a word of prayer. Abba Yah, Toda Rabbah for today. I pray that as we study scripture, that once again you open our eyes to see it, that we can understand what you're saying, what the Ruach is saying to the assembly, so that we can be the light of the world and the salt of the earth you told us that we are. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Amen. Matthew 6, verse 25. Incredible passage. It's incredible. I couldn't get past the first 3 words. I was like, are you serious? Listen to our King. Therefore I say unto you, take no thought for your life. Really? That seems to be all we think about.
That's it. That's it.
Take no thought for your life. Okay. What you shall eat, or what you shall drink, nor yet for your body what you shall put on. Is not the life more than meat, and the body more than raiment? Let's just stop right there. I mean, I've been talking for a while on the subject, what did the King say? Why? Because we're hearing everybody but the King.
Right. That's right.
And for some reason, there's a movement away from our King. Some people are saying, we don't listen to him anymore because we're now under this movement of the power of the Spirit. As though Yah's life and Yah's Torah is different than Yah's salvation. Yah's salvation is Yahushua. That's his name.
Yes.
And when you see Yah, when you see Yahushua, you're looking at the visible image of invisible Yah. Right. Literally, what you have. So when we listen to our King, I want you to make a note. He's never giving you new information.
That's right.
So what is he doing? As King, he's here to turn Yah's subjects, which is his children, back to him.
Right,
That's right.
right.
Why? Because at this time they were Christians.
Right.
Everybody was, man, going to church, and that's sad that he had to come to his own. Now, when he came to his own, the scripts say that his own received him not.
That's right. That's right.
Just like today, right?
Uh-huh.
As we bring Torah back to the masses of people,
Right.
the majority of the people are like, no. But he says, but as many as received him, to them gave he the power to become the offspring, if you want to use the correct term, of Yah. So when we talk about who has the final say, Yahushua has final say on scripture, period.
Yes. Right.
If you read something in the text and you don't understand it, and then you read that our king says something about it to clear it up, that's it. You know, you read something and go, man, I wonder, well, it's kind of confusing. Then the king come and say, no, this is that. You're like, oh, no more discussion. We ain't arguing with the king.
That's right.
No, because he wrote it. One of the things we need to really grasp is that he came to get us back on the right track.
Right. That's right. That's right.
We were off track. The word for track is another word for righteous. I've been saying this for weeks. Anybody know the word righteous? There's a character in the Bible that has it in his name. Who said that? Yes, Zadik. If you didn't know it, write it down. The word for path is Zadik. Path and righteousness, which is another which we get the word derek from. Those words are akin. That's why sometimes you see it in English, the path of righteousness, right? Because they both explain what they do. Righteousness is a way. It's a way. And the path is the way we travel. So what had happened? When the king got here, everybody was off the path. Yes. So he said, when you do your righteousness, in other words, when you get back on the right path, don't do like hypocrites. Because I'm going to give you, this is what the king is saying, I'm going to give you the right way to do things on this right path. So the first thing he says is, I got to deal with your alms giving. That's deep, huh? So when you look in Matthew chapter 6, verse 1, it says, let me just read it. Matthew 6, take heed that you do not your alms before men. That word alms should be Zadik. It's righteousness. Right. It's a mistranslation. Even though alms is a righteousness, but that word right there is the word righteous. Some Bibles have made the correction and have taken out the word alms and put the word righteousness there. So I just want you to know that. All right, but the word righteousness, take heed that you don't do your righteousness or your righteous acts to be seen of people, to be seen of men. Why? Because that's what hypocrites do. And remember, the word hypocrite in the Bible has a root in Hebrew, which is resh, ayin, ra. And why is that so important? Because ra is dysfunction. You're going to see that so many times in the Bible. Things are just dysfunctional, just dysfunction. Why? All that is evil is in the Bible dysfunctional. Yes. So the word for function in the Bible is the word tov, which is, hold on, which is tet vav. And it has to do with everything. I mean, it's, hold on. Tov is, wow, I just had Tav, thank you. It's Tav. So the Tav is a covenant. And the idea of functional is when the covenant or the agreement with the house, it agrees with the house. So anything that's working positive, functional, functioning righteous with the home is what's called tov. Right. If it's helping the house. But if it is dysfunctional, then it's called ra. It is corrupting the house. So that's considered to be then evil. Right. Now, why I've been all that information? Because here it says, when you do with your alms, that word should be righteousness, it says, don't sound the trumpet as the hypocrites. That word hypocrites is that word, those who are dysfunctional. The word literally means evil people. It literally means evil people. So hypocrites aren't like just funny people. Hypocrites are evil.
All right.
Why? Because to be a hypocrite is dysfunctional. So while we are told to do what is right, we have to do what is right the right way.
Wait. That's right.
Did that make sense?
Yes. Yes.
It's hard enough to get us to do what's
Right. That's right.
Right. The right way.
Woo, I mean, it's hard enough for us to just do what's right.
Do what's right.
But now we are told by the king that we not only have to do what's right, but we have to do what's right the right way. Why? Because that's Sadiq, that's righteousness. So it wasn't as though hypocrites weren't giving people things. It was the fact that when they gave it, they blew a trumpet and announced it in front of everybody. That was raw, that's dysfunctional. It wasn't like people didn't pray. The problem is their prayers were terrible prayers. They prayed to be seen of men. They prayed that people could say, woo, didn't he pray? Or they prayed selfish. That's why when he gives us the perfect prayer, he makes us start off Abba, Father, or Avinu, which is Hebrew for my Father, or our Father, our Father. So our prayers fall into his will, not my will, his will. Y'all follow me so far?
Yes, sir. Yes,
So
sir.
you understand chapter 6 is about our righteousness. So he teaches how to give, he teaches how to pray, teaches how to fast. Now some of these things we're not even doing, but we're supposed to be fasting. But then you gotta fast right. And then if you keep going through the text, you're gonna discover that not only do you fast, but we gotta forgive. Then we have to realize that there is how to handle our money, how to handle treasures. And I've been talking to you all about that because this is something that everybody is like, for some reason, people want to divorce themselves from their possessions. And the truth is, you are an extension of your possessions. Where your treasure is, there will your heart be. That is Bible. So one thing that our king never ever tries to sweep under the carpet is money, wealth, and treasures. Because while we all are supposed to possess some level of that, the issue is not whether you have it, the issue is, are you doing right with it?
Right. That's right.
Did you get it?
Yes.
And I spent a lot of time last week dealing with that when I was in LA, talking about what righteousness is when it comes to money. You can't serve Yah and Mammon. And if you all didn't see that video, you need to go check it out. Because in that video, I deal with the fact that Mammon is not money. Mammon is a demon.
That's right.
That's why he doesn't say you can't serve Yah and money.
Right.
Because money is an inanimate object. By the way, money is not really real. Money is actually an idea. It's a mode of exchange. The only reason why we use it at all is because we don't carry around goods with us.
Right.
But if we had the goods and we were trading, we wouldn't even need money. If I had a box of oranges and say you had some t-shirts, but you needed some oranges and I needed a t-shirt, I could say, how many oranges would you like for me?
Come on.
And we
That's
wouldn't
right.
exchange no
That's
money.
right.
Y'all get that? But because we don't do that today, money is an exchange, and then we go take the money and then go get what we want. And that's why I told people, stop putting up those memes. If y'all doing that, don't do that no more. Talking about tithing is not money. Tithing is food. You're making yourself look stupid. Money is only a piece of paper of exchange. The real money, if you want to use the term, the real value is in the actual objects.
Right.
It's in the stuff. It is in the wheat. It's in the wine. It's in the cow.
Right. That's right. Come on. Make it plain.
I want you to understand that because that makes people, because sometimes people want to divorce their money from their possessions, and what I'm telling you is money is just a representation of possessions. Because if tomorrow America says your money ain't worth nothing, guess what? Try to spend it if you want to. And it has happened during depressions. And that's what made people jump out of windows.
Right.
Because they done stacked up all this quote-unquote cash, and overnight it's all gone. They can't handle it. So I'm just letting you know that Yah is concerned not the fact that you have money, but that you use your money the way he tells you versus the way the demon tells you. So that was last week's message. I'm not trying to get into it. The demon is always going to be against Yah. Always.
That's right. That's right.
Just know that. How do you know it's a demon? Because every time you get ready to do something for Yah, he's going to tell you don't do it. And he's going to point to something in you that you need.
Greed.
Watch this. That you already have.
Right.
You already got it. So even when it comes to that, treasures, wealth, Yah is trying to talk to us about correcting how we look at it and how we use it. Not that it's evil. Remember, it's not money, it's the root of all evil. It is the love. Come on, talk back to me. Love. See, we cannot bend the script. Let's take the truth of it and then fix our lives. All right, now, the word there, take no thought, here, for your life, just on the surface, sounds impossible. What does a king mean? What does he mean? Take no thought for my life. Because for the most part, all we think about is our life.
Right.
We are preoccupied with life. Everything we do is for us. And you're telling me not to think about my life? When you read the text, you'll understand that that English word, don't think, is actually not a good translation. The Greek comes closer. The Greek word behind take no thought is the idea of don't be anxious. Merimneho in the Greek, anxious has to do with the idea of being, it has the idea of being distracted or divided. So in Greek, it would almost be like, don't get distracted because of the things in your life. Don't be anxious. But in Hebrew, it's deeper than that. What is the king actually saying? There's two Greek words here. Two Hebrew words that I want you guys to write down. The first one is, I'll give you the English, ragaz, just so you can pronounce it, R-A-G-A-S. And depending on how it's being used, it could be also spelled R-E, oh no, R-O, sorry, R-O-G-E-S, but it's still ragaz, either way you pronounce it, ragaz. And that's the word, that is the word agitated. So you can already see that the Messiah is not saying don't think about your life. That's English. In Hebrew, he's saying don't let your thoughts about your life agitate you.
That's right. I like it.
Did you get it?
Yeah.
Don't get agitated. Anybody know what the word agitate means? Well, we have a term for that. When somebody say you agitating me, we say you getting on my
Nerves.
That's right.
Getting on my
Getting on
nerves.
my nerves. That's what you said. You bothering me. So what is the point here? Where he says, take no thought for your life. How does that work with agitate? He's saying, literally, don't let the things in this life cause agitation to you. Don't let it bother you.
Right.
Okay.
Don't let stuff get on your nerves. So agitation also comes from the idea of being troubled. And without going too deep into this word, it comes from your mind. That's why the idea think no thought, because the word thought has to do with this word to be agitated. So the agitation is happening as a result of you processing something with your own mind. The word has to do with you thinking about something and processing it with your mind.
Right.
And by the time you finish processing and assessing your situation, you agitate it.
Right.
Somebody asked you what's wrong. Somebody asked you, say, what's wrong with you? You sitting there just mad. Nothing. What happened? Nothing. I'm just sitting here just
thinking.
Man. And you're trying to figure out what's going on. And in their habit, mentally, they're trying to work out problems and situations and circumstances. And every time they come to a conclusion, it bothers them. You get it?
Yep. Yep.
Now remember, he's telling you here, don't do that. Don't let concerns, especially about material things, cause agitation in you.
All right.
Zion, I'm going to help the world right now. And y'all just right here in the room getting it firsthand. Television and radio commercials are geared toward agitation.
Yes, they
That's
are.
right. That's right.
Yes, they are.
So true.
They make you, they create in you a sense of need
Right.
False.
to where now if you don't feel that need that they created, you agitate it.
Wow. That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. That's right.
You all messed up.
Yep.
Your kids messed up because they didn't get the Jordans. They can't be like Mike. They mad. You like, what's wrong with you? Everybody else got, oh, you agitated. Now you looking at your budget, your kid is crying. Now see, that wouldn't happen in my day. If I came home like that, that wouldn't have lasted. My pop didn't get agitated. Not behind that kind of stuff. The belt handled all that.
That's right.
That was back in the day. They don't do that now. Now, the child's agitation reaches the parent, and the parent is wondering, should I pay the rent?
My
Well,
goodness.
buy some shoes.
Wow. Wow.
Or stop my baby from being agitated. Then they go, but my baby, I love him so much. And in 2 days, he wants the next Jordan.
Yep.
I'm
Yep.
just trying to show you where we at.
That's right. That's real. That's
But
real,
they
bro.
got that from you.
Right.
Because you got enough purses, but you wanted that one. Now you got an attitude because you can't have that one, but you had the same attitude before you got the last one you said would be the one I need. It's agitation.
That's right. That's right.
Them pair of shoes, but you was cool with the last. No, but you understand, them is the ones I got to have now because they go with this. What? With the thing I'm about to get.
Uh-oh.
Babe, but we agitated. And brothers, we do the same thing with cars or motorcycles or whatever it is.
Yep.
The idea is it creates in you this weird off balance to where you start thinking that if you don't get it, you're going to die.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, that's real.
These Hebrews in this text literally are being agitated about what they're going to eat, what they're going to drink, and what they're going to wear. And Yah said, don't do that. Don't ever do that. Because it's an insult to him.
That's right.
If I ever wake up at 2 in the morning and see Jade, y'all see Jade or Ari, and I ever see him pacing like this. And I say, baby, what's wrong with you? I'm just trying to figure out like how we gonna eat. We gonna get some water in this house, cause you know, Pops, man, you know, I love you and everything, but man, I mean, like, when we gonna get some clothes, you know what I'm saying? Well, so you got up at night cause you worried about my business.
Come on.
Okay.
Agitated. Y'all said don't do that. The second word that's used here, the first one I gave you was regaz, which is to be agitated. The second one, the word that I want to give you, oh, by the way, let me give you a verse. Job 3:17. I was going to read the whole chapter, but because of time, just somebody read that one verse. Ooh-wee. You're going to love this verse. You already know it. You just don't know you know it. Somebody read Job 3:17. Read it loud, too. I know y'all ain't trying to find Job.
There the wrong cease raging.
Louder, huh?
There the wrong cease raging, and there the weary are at rest.
What are these new translations?
You want the King James version?
Give me King James. Cause it's
There the wicked cease from trouble.
that is.
And there
that-
the weary
Are
at
at,
rest.
okay, so Job has to come back on his friends. They're sitting there watching him. He's struggling, and he doesn't understand what's going on. So just make a long story short, when he gets to this passage, he talks about what would have happened if he would have never been born, or talks about being with Yah, and he said, they're the wicked, and here's the word, cease from troubling. So that word troubling there is that word agitated. And if you read this book, Job, you're going to find out that for like 30-something chapters, all his friends do is agitate.
Agitated.
That's
right. That's right.
He's like, boy, I'd rather be dead than be around you Hebrews.
Right.
Y'all about to worry me to death. That's that term. So you can see what agitation is. So y'all saying, don't let your thoughts about stuff and things create that kind of agitation in you.
Got it.
All right, the second word in Hebrew is the word da'ag. Spell it in 2 syllables. I'll give it to you in English. D-A-W space A-G. Now, eventually, Zion, we have to get away from spelling things with the English letters. And the reason is because the English letters don't relay the meaning of the word. Only the Hebrew letters do. But I know we are still learning Hebrew and the letters, because I'm still learning myself, but I'm saying I try not to use the English. So when I'm preparing lessons, that's why me and Hula's sitting here going through it, because like we try to do everything in Hebrew. But then she's like, did you spell it in this? And then when I spell it in English, sometimes I forget how it was spelled in Hebrew. So I was like, it's just too much going on. My daughter said this, and she's so right. We were teaching her English and Hebrew at the same time, right? And she literally said, why don't you just teach me Hebrew? Why? It is so much easier. It is, especially to a person learning. That was a long rant. To say this, da'ag is really dalet, aleph, gimel. Dalet, aleph, gimel. Now, the dalet is in Hebrew a door. If anybody have our sheet in Hebrew, you can see it's a door, a tent door, or a pathway. The gimel is a picture of a foot. It represents steadfastness or sure. A person like say sure-footed. A camel is actually called a gimel in Hebrew.
Yeah.
Why? Because a camel can walk across the desert.
Right.
And he also lifts you up.
Yeah.
So the idea of a foot. So you have a dalet, a gimel, which give us our word dog or da'ag. And you put the two together, we can do a very simple exercise. I just told you what the door is, and I just told you what the gimel is. So what's the door? I mean, what is the dalet? A door. And what is the gimel? A foot. Okay, so in this particular word, you have to know that a door in Hebrew was not the doors like we have on hinges that just open and just go in and shut the door. The doors would be like this. It's a tent door. And they hung and they swung in and out as you came in and out. And so when our Hebrew ancestors saw that picture of this thing swinging in and out,
Yes.
and they saw the picture of a foot that should be sure, they saw this word da'ag as literally the moving or the swinging of the foot. It is the back and forth motion of the foot.
Right.
So this is what you see. This is what you see. When a person is worried about something, a lot of times
They're pacing. Pacing.
they pace. It's the back and forth movement of the foot. Or they just stand there doing this.
Yeah.
You're like, what's wrong?
Or sitting, tapping.
Yeah, or tapping. That's the word da'ag. It's the fluttering motion. It's used also with the when a fish is trying to swim off. He wiggles the tail and it creates an agitation and he's able to.
Right.
Same idea. So the idea of da'ag is the shuffling or the moving of the feet. The feet not being solid. One very, very keen observer of this human and unnatural and unorthodox posture that people take when they're troubled is none other than the late Dr. James Joseph Brown. Y'all know him as James Brown.
Yes.
He actually observed this human experience and this erratic dysfunction, and he called it the bad foot.
Wow.
He did.
Wow. Sure did.
Yeah, he did. And he encouraged us
Get on the good
to get on the good foot. To get on the good foot.
Yeah.
Can I quote him? Is it all right? I mean, he's one of our greatest minds. He said, "Can't pass the people. Can't pass the people. Hit me." He said, "I wanna get on the good foot. Yeah, I wanna get on the good foot." He said, "The good foot, going down to the crib." That's what he said. To let it all hang out. You know what that means? He's going to chill. Then he said, where soulful people know
Right.
what it's all about. What is it all about? He said, man, we're going to get together and we're going to dance. And we're going to do it on the good foot. So I said, man, where'd he get that from? He said, the good foot. I'm serious. I'm reading. Literally, he said, ain't nothing going on but the rent, whole lot of bills, and my money spent. What she said? That's on the bad foot. So he was saying, I understand I messed up and spent the money I should have been paying for my rent, which put me in a bad position. Now I'm on the bad foot. But right after that, he said, face getting short. That means he's frowning like, See a long face and a short face. Then he said, I got the blues. Then he said, but I got a funky job and I'm paying my dues. And that's on the good foot. He didn't go steal. He didn't go rob. He didn't go get in a fight. No, what did he do? He's like, well, hey, I can't stay on the bad foot. How about this? I just go get a job and pay my bills. Why? So I can get back on the what?
Good foot.
I got to get on the good foot.
That's all right.
You ain't gonna never forget this definition.
Nope. Never.
Hear that song again.
So what's going on is this. Our king is looking at his disciples and literally saying to them, y'all on the bad foot. We use a term today, watch this, tripping.
Yep.
And notice that the term tripping got to do with your feet.
Yep. You with your feet. Wow. That's
And so when a person is going through it, man, they be like, man, you tripping.
Yep.
And if the person is really, really, really anxious, we'll tell them, listen, don't trip out.
Yeah.
Yep.
Don't you trip out.
Yep.
Again, having to do with feet. I've been telling y'all, you don't know how much Hebrew is in you.
Already.
We still use the terms because those terms are in our DNA.
Right.
Hallelujah.
When I read this, I was like, oh, the king ain't saying not to think about your life. The king is saying stop tripping.
That's all right. Hallelujah.
Because even though I know my daughter shouldn't be walking the floor at 2 in the morning worried about the water, if she is, I'm gonna tell her you tripping. Your feet shuffling. You missing it. Your lack of understanding is putting you in an agitated state, which now, because of your agitation, is causing you to trip. And what do people normally do when they start tripping? Watch this. They fall
down.
That's a good one. They fall. That's a good one. I was gonna say they go get loaded.
Falling to get loaded. Oh,
9
man.
times out of 10, you fall.
Oh, boy.
Man. When people start tripping on stuff, they start doing some stuff that they would normally not do.
That's right.
So you done spent all the bill money, so now you're gonna shake your money maker, huh? So you're gonna sell you to pay the rent.
Right.
You think that's a fair exchange?
Right.
That's not Hebraic.
Nope.
You tripping.
Yeah.
You so worried about not having the next pair of shoes, next shirt, next pair of whatever, now you're gonna sling drugs to your own people.
Yeah.
You tripping.
Really tripping.
You're not thinking about the mind of the generation. You're just thinking about the next pair of shoes. The next. Because you ain't talking about getting a pair because you already got shoes. So please don't tell me you ain't got no shoes.
Right.
And please don't tell me you don't have more than one pair.
Right.
And please don't tell me you don't have more than one pair of shirt, more than one dress, more than one pants. Why are you tripping on stuff? Not that you don't. You tripping on stuff and you already got the stuff you tripping about.
That's right.
Got you all messed up. Worried about stuff you already have. One of the things I can't stand is when a person tells me, I ain't got nothing to eat.
Whatever.
And I'm looking around their house going, there's food all over this house.
I don't need to lose weight. I need.
What are you talking about?
Time to fast. It's time to fast.
Open the fridge, open the freezer, it's packed. Close it, boom. Open the refrigerator, it's packed. You shuffling through food. Boom. Close it. Go in the cabinet. You moving boxes. You moving jars. And then come out talking about ain't nothing to eat here. You tripping. You get it now, don't you?
Yeah.
Yes.
Have you ever seen anybody do this? 'Cause I don't want you to admit that you do it. Let's not tell anybody that you might do it. Have you ever seen somebody do this? Go to the closet and do like this? I ain't got nothing to wear. I ain't saying you did it.
I did.
You ever seen anybody go on the, pull the drawer open and go like this? Close it, pull it, close it, pull it, close it. What you worried about? It's the Bible. When you are under the influence of Mammon, which is a demon, the demon has the ability to put you off balance and agitate you about the stuff you already have. The disciples are an example of it. What are we going to eat? And the Messiah was like, I think y'all was here when I took 2 fish. I mean, y'all help pass it out. I mean, what are you serious? Like, I fed 5,000 men, Hebrew men. They eat a lot. Plus their wives and all the kids.
That's right.
And you talking about food. That's weird. So he breaks it down, and I'm almost through, because I know Hula's almost done. Let me break this down. I'm going to use the King's words. Let's look at the text. I'll use his words and we'll get out of here. He said, first of all, now that we know what the word take thought means, we can add the word trip. We were tripping, whatever. Watch this. Which of you by tripping can add 1 cubit to his stature? That word is interesting because it's a dual meaning. It doesn't mean just get taller. It means to extend life. But the extension of life also deals with the quality of life. So a man's stature, like in the community or whatever, had to do with how that person is living. Y'all get that? Yeah. So that's just an old English term having to do with extension of life. Do you know what worrying does? They've proven this scientifically. What does it do? Worrying shortens life. Tripping shortens life. Being on the bad foot shortens your life. Being agitated about stuff there's no reason to be agitated over shortens your life. The King told us that 2,000 years ago. We didn't need modern science to tell us that. King said that. Come on. Verse, where am I? Lost my
28. 28.
25, 26. Oh, no, wait, hold on. I skipped 26. He said, y'all need to go look at the birds. Matter of fact, when's the last time any of you all actually went and watched some birds? See, some of us just too busy. You've done it? It's amazing.
It is amazing.
Birds don't have a job. Watch this. Outside of being birds.
Come on.
That's what they do.
That's what they do. Do all right.
Now watch this. Birds ain't stupid.
No.
They know that worms don't climb trees.
They know that.
They know that if they want to get some food, they got to go get it. But watch this. The point is, do they actually stress. No, I live in the country. They wake up singing.
Yeah, they do.
Ooh, thank you. Look at all my breakfast.
Early bird.
They don't plant. They don't reap.
Nope.
They don't build no big barns.
Nope.
About the most you're going to see them do is store a little bit in the nest. Watch this. And your heavenly Father feed them. And you tripping on food. You're much more than them.
Yeah.
If you look at Job chapter 38, around verse 41, he's going to tell you that Yah feeds the ravens. And a raven is what we would call a dirty bird. But when they cry, Yah hears their cry. You don't feed them, Yah does. Now watch 28. Don't take any thought for raiment. Why are you tripping on clothes? Consider the lilies. When's the last time you actually looked at a lily? Now, some people say this is a wildflower, but really it has to do with a particular wildflower that grows in the Holy Land in the family of lilies. That's what it is. It's a beautiful flower. And what he's talking about here is, he says, if you were able to get Solomon's money and dress yourself up like Solomon in his splendor, that means in his heyday, you couldn't outdress one of my daddy's flowers that he grows from seed to flower to death and to the oven within a day or two.
Come on.
Now let me tell y'all something, Hebrews. I'm gonna hang here for a second. What in the world is it about clothes, man? Got us so hung up.
Because it came in me.
That is crazy. That has to be from slavery.
That's from
It
slavery.
is.
It's got to be psychological trauma.
It is.
Post-traumatic slave disorder.
It's got to be post-traumatic slave
Slave
disorder.
disorder.
It has to be traumatic because it doesn't make any sense.
Don't make no sense.
A people that claim to be struggling the way we do spend so much on clothes and have so many clothes, and it's just clothes coming out of everywhere. We got so many clothes, we don't even like washing our clothes because we don't want to fold the clothes and put them away. That is weird. Only a slave brain does that to people, and then make them keep going because somebody told you if you didn't look like something, you were nothing.
Right.
And you believed them.
Yeah.
You believed them.
Yep.
I'm so happy I'm from the country. My dad from the country. We didn't grow up like that. I remember when I started to feel that a little bit when I got to high school, you know, because we was you know, in the country. You know, we didn't know nothing about no name brand, nothing.
Right.
I remember when I was in school, everybody was wearing 501.
Yeah.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah, 501
Same here.
Levi.
And one day I came home, I was like, Dad, I want some 501. He said, what's 501? I said, I don't know, some jeans. I'm serious. I told my mama, and she said, I don't know what that is. It took my sister. She said, why you keep saying you want 501s? She said, all the jeans you got is 501.
Wow.
I said, huh? She said, it's right here on the back of the thing. It say 501 on the little patch on the back.
Buying you the best one.
My Lord.
Agitated.
Agitated. That's it. Agitated.
Over something I already got.
Already
Come on now. That's right.
So Pops worked hard all his life. I worked with him, but he worked hard. And he would get off work and he would still be in his work clothes, you know, and hang out with the family because it was 8 of us kids. So Pops didn't go home and take a shower before he hang. Man, get off work, man, we just go hang out. I remember one day we were doing some kind of a charity event, and I may have said this online before. And Pops was there, he came off of work, and we was like washing cars or something. And a brother came in the line in a long green Cadillac, about long as these two tents put together. I'm talking about long. What's the longest? I'm talking back during the lowrider days, like slamming, right? And I said, Pops, man, look at that car. And he looked at me. He was like, he didn't say nothing. And I said, and look at that brother, man, he clean. Brother was clean too. Green leisure suit. Rolling a green Cadillac to a charity car wash. My dad looked at me and he said, what my dad said? He said, does that impress you? And I think he clean. This is what he said, not me. He said, that Negro can't afford socks. Wow. That's all he said. No joke. He got out the car, got to the car wash. He got out the car, stepped out the car, and did not have no socks on. Back then, that wasn't in.
Right, right.
He had on some shoes with no socks. And he came up to my daddy and asked my daddy for $5 to get the car washed.
Wow.
I'm standing by my dad in his work clothes. This man drive up in the Cadillac. My dad already knew him. That don't mean nothing. He asked my father for the $5 to get the Cadillac washed. The psychological trauma that he was suffering from is off the charts. Because that to him made him.
Right. Right.
The car, the leisure suit, but he had nothing.
Nothing.
And that's what's going on with our people today. And I said I want to take a time and deal with this. Stop letting people tell you you're nothing if you don't look like this or that.
Yes.
Say that.
Yes.
It means nothing.
That's right.
Say it.
You can't outdress a flower anyway.
So
It's
true.
not a flower.
Stop that foolishness. Learn how to tell Yah thank you.
Yes.
Quit giving China all your money.
Come on. Come on. Let the
I
government
told you money is not the demon. The demon, Mammon is the demon.
Yep.
And because you don't have the latest, don't mean nothing to Yah.
That's right.
You know how I know that y'all suffering from psychological trauma when it comes to this? When you look at real people that have real money, they don't care about that.
That's right.
They don't. They're not
They don't.
dressed like that.
Yep.
They're not dressed like that.
Hey,
Just enough.
they don't care what they drive, as long as they give them point A to point B. You have no idea that's a billionaire.
Right.
They be standing in line trying to get a Whataburger. I'm telling y'all.
Yes, they do.
They may go to Target, grab a little shirt, some jeans, because they don't have to deal with the psychological trauma.
Yes. Yes.
Trying to dress yourself up with jewels and diamonds and all that, when on the inside, you looking down on yourself. It ain't gonna help you, baby. Only thing gonna help you is to reclaim your true identity, which is you are a child of Yah.
Yes.
And come to realization we living in the land of our captivity.
Yep. Yes.
Worrying about clothes is weird when Yah is about to come back.
That's right. That's right.
Yep.
Hallelujah.
This nation is like the Titanic. Y'all know that, right?
That's right.
It's sinking.
It done sprung a leak, can't be fixed.
That's right.
Oh, I watched that movie a couple times, man. That's my favorite line. When the guy said, "This is the Titanic, it cannot sink." And the engineer turned and he said, "Well, I designed this ship. I built this ship. It can sink." And it will sink. I said, ooh. So, guess what the captain did? Tell the band keep playing.
Keep
Ain't that some
playing the music.
Yeah. Yeah.
Come on now.
Yeah.
Sue.
That's what's going on right now among our
They're
people.
playing the music.
That is. That is.
Just keep them distracted.
Keep them distracted.
Give them another ball to bounce. Give them another ball to hit. Give them another ball to throw. Give them another stick to jump over. Do something. Keep them distracted. Why? Because we don't want to tell them the truth.
That's right. Ship is sinking.
All right, that's the end of my soapbox. Listen, nothing wrong with getting clothes. Somebody made this for me.
Right.
I love it.
Nice. Beautiful.
I might wear it again next week.
Right. Just wash it.
I mean, I'm probably worse than most people because I grew up in the country. That stuff didn't have value to me. People that look sharp don't own no land.
That's right.
Say it.
That's right. That's right.
I mean, people with $2,000 suits and don't own a house. What is that all about? Who told you to buy that first? People with very dangerous and rare reptilian shoes
Very dangerous.
getting their lights cut off.
My goodness. Yeah. Yeah.
Somebody told you that was more important than keeping power on for your babies? We got to stop that psychological trauma.
You're right.
All right, but watch this. He said, you can't outdo a flower, and they don't toil and they don't spin.
No.
And Solomon couldn't match. Wherefore, if Yah, here we go. Yah so clothed the grass of the field, which today is, and tomorrow is cast into the oven. Is that the Bible? How much more will he clothe you, oh, you of little faith? Like, what is this all about? Why don't you trust him to do what he's been doing from creation? I feel something here, but I got to shut it down. But I start having these, I get these pictures, I call them like rundowns. I start seeing things in patterns, and it just like trips me out. I be wanting to say them all, so I just got to cut them back. But like, I be thinking like, all the water that you was ever going to need was here before you got here.
That's right. That's right.
Yes.
All the bread that you was ever going to eat, y'all had put that here before you got here.
That's right.
All the cattle and everything, he had already made the provisions, and I could do that all day long. Before you showed up, he made sure that your mama's milk gland, oh,
Come on now. Come on now. Come on now.
your first meal.
Your first meal.
He didn't even trust her to go out and buy something.
No. No.
It's all right. It's all right. It's all right. Yes, sir.
Nah, I ain't gonna leave that up to her.
Yeah.
She might have went to Macy's. Oh, baby, won't have no milk. Let me just put it in, you know. Y'all getting my point, right? And now you worry. No, he got you from cradle to grave.
That's right.
So don't trip. Verse 32. For after all these things, do the what?
Gentiles.
No, do the Hebrews.
Nation.
No. Do the Israelites.
All the nations.
What words that say?
Gentiles.
That ain't you. That's Gentiles. Oh, y'all picking up Gentile ways. We don't stress on stuff that our Father's given us. I don't want to be mean or nothing. But verse 32 say, your heavenly Father, which is your Abba in the Shamayim. He know you got need before you ask. What does that mean? I got a daddy.
Yes. Abba.
Wait a minute. I don't just have a male
Come on.
who say he daddy. I got a real dad.
Yes, sir.
I have a real father in the Shamayim who just happens to be the king. I knew him as dad first. Then I grew up and found out he's the king.
Yes.
He's like, wait. My Abba is the king of Israel? Oh, and the owner of the world. Wait a minute. I thought Warren Buffett and Bill Gates, he was like, you think they got stuff? The cattle on every hill is his. Read the Psalm. It said not only the cattle is his, it says the hills are his.
Hills, brother.
Read the Psalm. It said the gold in the hills are his. Another Psalm say the earth is Yah's and the fullness thereof. Another verse says, is there anything too hard for Yah? Another verse says, he prepared a table before me in the presence of my enemies. I wish I had time. I told you my brain is on one of them runs right now. I'm just trying to stop it from happening. But the old folk knew it. They were struggling coming out of slavery where they really didn't have no shoes. Because during that time, part of being mean and evil, the slave masters would have them working barefooted. But you know what they would do to encourage each other? They say, you know I got shoes, right? And you got shoes. All y'all's children
Got shoes.
All of us got shoes. Just because this man want to be mean, whatever, it don't matter. Because we going somewhere. When we get to heaven, we're going to put on our shoes. Then do what? Walk. Woo! Where you walking? All around. Ain't all around. Said nothing. I got something else to tell you. He said, what? I got a robe. Where? I got a robe. And you got a robe.
Yes.
No, I'm out here cold. No. All y'all's children got robes. What are you talking about? If y'all's having you struggle for something, struggle through it.
Yes.
Don't trip. Be a good steward. That's the next verse and I'm done. But seek. Y'all not going to believe this in the Bible, so I'm going to read it.
There's the rain.
33.
I'm going to get down to that 33. But what does it say?
Seek ye first.
Seek first what?
The kingdom.
No. Think. No. It doesn't say seek first the kingdom, or does it say seek first thingdom?
Kingdom.
So there's a difference between kingdom and thingdom.
True.
Most of us are seeking
Kingdom.
thingdom, not kingdom. And when we seek thingdom over kingdom, it's the kingdom that suffers. But when you seek kingdom over thingdom, then the king of the kingdom adds all the things of thingdom.
That's right. That's right.
To you.
That's right.
Say, wait, what? Yeah, see, you worried about thingdom, but the king of the kingdom is also the king of the thingdom.
Yes.
Anything you need, he got it. And he's your father, so he's going to give you the best. Seek first the kingdom. And it's, there's the word, Sadiq. The righteousness of the kingdom is the right path of the kingdom. And guess what? I was just telling, I'm going to start using your Hebrew name. Yosef. Yosef, I was telling him, I said, there is no way Hula and I could be doing this on our own. The price is astronomical. If I told you how much it costs to travel around the world and do these meetups and stuff, y'all be like, come on, man, you don't see that much money. Just, you don't understand. It's a miracle every time we do it.
Praise God.
And the only explanation I have is this must be what he wants us to do.
Absolutely.
And so I come away with a principle. When he orders something, he pays for it.
That's right. That's it.
When he orders it and tells you go, or do or whatever,
pays.
then he then is on the hook, if you want to use the term, to supply whatever's necessary to get done what he has ordered done.
That's right.
So, if that is a principle, we have to then watch our finances, because sometimes we try to get things done that are not his will. One of the ways he keeps us from doing something outside of his will, he tightens up the finances.
Yes,
That's right.
he will.
That's right.
Yes, he will.
That's right.
Yes, he will.
Why? Because he's like, let me hold this brother back.
Because
Let me hold his sister back, because he's about to go off the deep end.
Yeah. Yeah.
True.
It's real.
True.
Some of us would have been a whole lot bigger sinners if we had more money.
That's right. That's right. Come on. Make it plain. Make it plain. Make it plain.
He's telling the truth.
Woo, some of y'all would have never made it to the tent today. You'd have had a little bit more money.
That's right.
Like, well, I ain't got enough to go here, here, here. I guess I'll go to the Shabbat camp. Okay, but you understand it? Then he said, don't worry about tomorrow. Tomorrow got enough issues. Now that don't mean don't plan, because I just told you the word, take no thought. Doesn't mean don't think about it. What he's saying is, don't trip over it. Handle today, be good stewards today, and then tomorrow, you're going to handle tomorrow. And guess what? We're going to just keep handling each day as it comes.
Right.
On the good foot.
That's right. Not tripping.
All the way, without tripping. All the way to the kingdom.
Yep.
Hallelujah.
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 One more time. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Shalom.
Oh. Yeah.
I hope you all hope this was informative. Hope you never look at this text the same again, because that's what it's all about. When we see something and get encouraged to grow, and don't just default to English all the time.
Right.
Try to research the Hebrew word.